Hey guys, how are you doing? Obviously, a lot of you have mixed emotions about Paterson Nightly, and I do too. This whole thing was just a sad ploy for me to get in touch with a brother that has abandoned me since we were children, growing up in Canton, Massachusetts. Bill doesn't talk about me much. We had a parting of ways at a really young age when I was always a little bit taller and a little bit smarter in school, and you know, he was picked on a lot, and I always picked on him too. I wasn't a good big brother, and sadly, um, I was a big brother, but he was 10 years older than me. So as I grew taller than him, he was like 18 and I was 8. And at first, for years, he put me down. And, he was all about himself. Mr. Big Bill Burr, comedian, wannabe, warehouse guy, driving forklifts around. And just didn't have time for his little brother. And at one point, years later, I confronted him and I beat him in a fight to a pulp. And he said, "Don't ever fucking talk to me again. We're done." And I didn't think he meant forever, but he moved away. He got this gig in comedy, and he was serious. And I got into my own troubles because that's what happens when families are torn apart through violence. And finally, after getting released from jail, I decided to find Bill and reconcile. And I tried to call him a few times; he wouldn't answer. I did everything I could to get a hold of to Billy, Billy Burr, my brother. And my name is Patrick Burr. I'm just a normal brother that wants to have contact with his brother. And I decided maybe this Paterson Nightly thing would get his attention. He'd see me doing. Obviously, I failed at the comedy. Everybody gives me thumbs down, yells at me, thinks I'm being serious. Satire and dark humor has really just gone beyond anything any of you Paterson Nightly fans can comprehend, and I get that. We're in the 2016 era where the dumbing down of the nation has pretty much eradicated all your brains. And I wasn't trying to be like, I didn't have schooling and all the shit that Bill had to be funny. So for you to judge my comedic stuff is a little sad. But I forgive you. You're just people. But you're not that bright, sadly. You think Billy is funny, and I do too. Don't get me wrong. He's a funny guy, but he's my brother. And then I actually got front row seats to this show with my fiance, thinking I'd introduce them, and he didn't give me the time of day, and he flipped out as if I was a common person in the crowd, and it was just flabbergasting. Is that a word, flabbergasting? I don't know, but it took me back to the days of when he picked on me growing up. Our father was a dentist. He was equal to us all. He kind of favored me. I think I was the baby. And I say I'm his big brother because if you look at the picture, on the profile of Paterson Nightly, you'll see me standing with him. I took my hat off so you can see the resemblance. It's pretty obvious. I thought you guys would have caught on by now, but I have to spell it out to all the, the half wits and whatever you may be out there that watch the show and that became weird fans of Paterson Nightly, where you say, you hate the show and I'm retarded and all this stuff and go die in a fire and all this weird stuff. But I take it with a grain of salt because it's not a comedy show. What it was reaching out to my brother, Bill Burr. And Bill, it's Patrick. I'm telling the world now about this because you have failed to respond through any means. You did the podcast about Tourette's. I thought that was maybe a way that you were reaching out, but you haven't contacted me since. I haven't been to another show yet. And I'm waiting for you to reach out to me now. This is my last edition of Paterson Nightly, obviously, because I don't know what the fuck who Paterson is, or the whole thing was just an attempt. A bizarre, you know me, Bill. We grew up together. You saw how weird I was. I'm a little weird, and I guess you held that against me. You have new friends now. You're famous, and you don't have time for your brother. But it's about time to put that all aside and come. You have an open invitation to dinner. Chrissy and I would love to have you over, but it's gone on too long, and none of us deserve it. We have nothing. The beating was one thing. You deserved it. You were getting arrogant, cocky, and you needed a beating. I'm not going to beat you up this time. I'm calm. I did my time for the other assault and battery case, but that was another story. The guy was in my face, in my girl's face, and I had to do what I had to do. I'm not a violent person anymore. I'm actually a Buddhist. I promote peace. I'm in recovery from drugs and alcohol. I was actually a clinician recently, and I'm taking the test tomorrow on your birthday to get my license in the field, so I can help others with that affliction. That's what caused the violence, and I think a lot of my drug use stems from the fact that you left me to fend for myself, your little brother. But anyway, Paterson Nightly fans, I apologize that you were sucked into a world of insanity, pseudo-insanity, because it was, like I said, a ploy to contact my brother. Now, if you guys would be nice enough to tell Bill, reach out to him and say, hey, just talk to him. And the guy's hurting, obviously. I'm not going to cry on the show because it is still a Paterson Nightly for whatever reason. I'm not going to start crying and begging you. But this is it, man. I'm reaching out one last time. If you fail to reach back, then I guess I'll just give up and go my own way. I have other plans for a new YouTube show where I'm going to be advocating and helping. I'd like to interview different people that are maybe addicted or in recovery and talk to them about the creative things they've done and the things that they can offer to the community beyond, the typical thought of degradation and stealing and robbery and all these things that people think addicts are, because that's not what we are. We're people that give back to society. We're sick. We have a disease that can be arrested one day at a time, and I'm living proof. I mean, I'm still a little bizarre, obviously, this whole Paterson Nightly Bill Burr thing, but you guys get it now. It should all come together, and I thank you for your support through this time, people that watch the show, and the ones that have, send a message to Bill and say, hey, man, just reach out. He's reaching out. If you can, if you have it in your heart, but this is taking too much out of me, and I'm sick of beating around the bush. This is what it is. Bill, it's Patrick. Patty, you remember me? Patty? Come on, man. It's been years, but it's just me, man. Just contact me, and let's sit down and break bread again like brothers. Thanks, man. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Hit me up on here. Give me a ring. I sent you my number. Let's do this. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.